to the new and revamped Fuzzy Cactus Yarn Podcast. I'm Katie, your host. I'm the indie dyer behind Fuzzy Cactus Yarn. I'm coming to you today from normally sunny, but today it is rainy and overcast, southern Arizona, where I live with my family. We have 5 kids, 1 dog, and 2 cats. So yeah, life is pretty crazy. I do dye out of my home here in Arizona, and I have an Etsy shop, which I've been on Etsy for almost 2 years now. So thank you for joining me. This is a podcast about knitting and crochet and sometimes some cross stitch. Not today though. So yeah, thanks so much. We're gonna just kick things off with a finished object. I am every year, well, for the past 2 years, I've tried really hard to complete 1 pair of socks a month for Wool and Vine's box of socks knit along, and normally I peter out around like May and June, and I don't knit socks again until September or October. So I'm gonna try really hard this year, so hard, to knit 1 pair each month for myself. So we'll see how that works out. This month, or rather today, is February 3rd, Super Bowl Sunday here in the States. And these are my January socks. I did the Woodland Walk pattern by Olivia Villarreal. And this is in my From Now On colorway. The last half of last year I did a Greatest Showman sock yarn club, and this was the last colorway, so December's colorway. These are for me. Well, sometimes my husband steals my socks because we have roughly the same size feet, but I did have myself in mind when I chose the leafy pattern, which is like really pretty. My friend Lily, she knit several pairs, and she's like, you need to try it, you need to try it. And I actually had tried them, but I didn't understand the chart, the way it was written. There's a non-stitch pattern, or a non-stitch block row in the chart. This is a free pattern on Ravelry, so head on over and get it, because it is really fun. These socks knit so fast. I love it. And they're very comfy. Sometimes with pattern legs and heels, or just any pattern other than vanilla, sometimes it feels different against that part of your skin, but these don't, and they still fit well, which is always a good thing. I did a 1x1 ribbing on the top, and I didn't follow the heel pattern that's for the pattern. I like a fish lips kiss and just a normal toe decrease. I knit mine top down. So yeah, I can't wait to actually wear them. It's actually been cold this winter here in Arizona, and I started them, I think this was actually my Christmas Eve cast on, and I was like, oh gosh, by the time I get these done, it's gonna be hot again. And this past week it was warm. I'm like, of course, but today it's cool, so I think I'm gonna slip them on before we go to a Super Bowl party. So yeah, yay. I also, I will put a picture of them in here. I knit a pair of socks for my friend, one of my best friends, for her birthday out of my Copper State colorway, and that's it wound up. This colorway was inspired by Bisbee, Arizona. We took a bachelorette party weekend trip there in November, and it was so awesome. It was so fun. There's lots of blue and orange and some purple. I really got some copper coloring out of the orange, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. I'm so in love with it. But she said she loves them, which yay, so exciting. I love when knit-worthy people are excited to receive their gifts. It's such a good feeling. So yeah. 2 weeks ago, I was at a crochet retreat. Our local crochet group here is called the Sonoran Hookers, and if you're in the Tucson or even southern Arizona area, you're totally welcome to join. We meet on the first and third Fridays every month at Savano Coffee House, so you can totally Google that. Also, we're on Facebook if you wanted to join the group to stay up to date. But once or twice a year, we have a crochet retreat at Tubac, Arizona, which is generally like an artsy town. There is like a massive golf resort there, which is where we go, so that's like the main attraction in Tubac. But it's always such a good day. We just like sit and knit and crochet and eat, which, I mean, how can you go wrong with that? But this year, I got my only stash enhancement for this episode is what I got at retreat. Everybody got, they hand crocheted the bags that all of our goodies were in. Oh my gosh, it's so bright. I love it. It's awesome. So a granny hexagon, granny hexagon tote, which is super fun. And then we all got these little alpaca and cactus bags. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. And it had like a bunch of like stitch markers and a tape measure and little cute row counter as a charm. But yeah, I'm really excited because I like the little bags like this. I keep all my notions and stuff in those, and then I throw those in my bigger project bags. But recently I've been trying to make it a point that I have a little bag for all of my project bags that I have going on, because it's annoying having to hunt down that one bag with all your scissors and needles and, you know, the stitch markers that you really like, you don't just put up with. So, and I know everybody has their favorites, like, don't even lie. So yeah, that's my goal this year, is to have a stash of stuff in every bag. But some of the yarn that was in there was, it's really pretty dusty blue Lamb's Pride Superwash Bulky from Brown Sheet Company. I'm assuming they're in Nebraska because there's a picture of Nebraska on their tag. But it's, for superwash, it still feels a little rustic. I'm really excited. There's 100 grams, about 110 yards. So I'm hoping, because I don't really have a need for like cold weather accessories all that often, but sometimes I'm kind of hoping that maybe I can do like a cowl or even a hat with like a big fur pom-pom would be really super cute. It isn't really a color that I would normally pick, but I do still like it because it has a little bit of a purple tint to it. And we all got a skein of Madeline Tosh, yay! One of a kind, so I'm assuming that our, she's kind of like, I call her the ringleader, Diana. She called around for donations or if anybody wanted to participate or supply stuff for our retreat. I'm assuming Madeline Tosh was like, yeah, here's all these skeins that didn't come out the way we wanted them to. Here, take them. So, but this is DK, which is exciting because I am currently on a mission to amp up my DK and worsted stash. So I will take anything and everything I can get. I have a ton of sock yarn, but I am seriously lacking in DK and worsted weight yarn, which recently I even depleted more so because I did hats for everybody for Christmas. So I'm not sure what this will be, but it will definitely be stashed. It is like a really pretty blue. It looks like they had a couple, like several tones of blue in there, kettle dyed. So I'm excited about that. Yay. And the creme de la creme, we did a blind, excuse me, a blind kind of cakewalk experience. All the yarn was in like poly mailers, so you can't see what's in there. And we walked around to the music, like musical chairs, cakewalk style. And I opened my bag, and it was a, gosh, I don't even remember what it was. It was worsted, and it was autumnal colors. It was like brown, orange, white, and like golden, which I generally don't do. It was nice, and I would totally have gotten it. But the lady next to me, I don't think she was a knitter, and this was in her bag. And she looked at me and she's like, oh, hey, do you want to switch? I'm like, Oh yeah, I do. I didn't even recognize the tag. I just saw the colors, which, hello, oh my god, can that focus? I actually didn't recognize the tag because the hedgehog fiber yarn that I have has the old style. I didn't realize it had changed to this like shimmery one. But I was like, yes, because I totally gravitate towards purples, blues, like anything jewel tone I'm on. And then you add in like the little pops of rainbow. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. So yeah, I am definitely looking forward to using this. This is a single base, and it is called Potluck. It is 100% merino wool, so I'm going to assume not. I don't know if it's superwash or not actually. So if you know, please let me know. I generally treat everything that is superwash with care anyway. Like I treat it like it's not superwash. And if you ever buy yarn from me, you'll notice I always say hand wash, dry flat. I do, however, like my socks, I do machine wash them and they turn out okay most of the time. I was putting them in the dryer, but I don't know, I didn't like how they felt afterwards, so I've just been laying them out to air dry recently, and that's been much better. But yeah, so I will definitely be taking care of whatever I make with those. I will, or the hedgehog, I will definitely take care of it for sure. Like it is not superwash. So moving on after all those fun goodies, I do have a few works in progress to talk about today. My first in my Ariel bag, so I am a huge Disney fan. I love Disney, I love Marvel, all that is totally my jam. My husband, I don't even know where the bag's from, but my husband got it for me a few years ago for Christmas, and I'm like, yay, she's my favorite. So I have a pair. I have a sock kit listed in the shop, the St. Patty's Day Rainbow is what I'm calling it. But it is a 100 grams sock skein of this color, which I named St. Patty's Day Rainbow. And it's lots of Kelly green and the neon speckles. And then I paired it with a 20 gram super bright orange mini, which I named Ginger because my husband's a ginger and his hair kind of looks like this. So I started socks for that, and also so I could have like basically a sample knit up, but I will totally be wearing these because look how cool they are turning out. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. The speckles are amazing, and that's also that, and the little bit of pooling is ending up looking stripy, so I'm always like, oh, what's coming next, what's coming next? So yeah, they're really fun to knit. I've actually only worked like 2 sittings on this, which is crazy. Usually it takes me like a time or 2 for the cuff and then like 3 times for the leg, but I can probably get the leg done in 1 more sitting and maybe even the heel. So yay, that's sock number 1 for that. So hopefully next episode I will have the completed pair. I am planning on doing the cuff, heel, and toes in the orange on both pairs, so I'm excited for that. I generally don't do that, which I think it's just because I'm lazy. Like, I don't really like weaving in ends because who does? But I love the look of contrasting heels and toes and cuffs, so I am sucking it up and doing it. My next work in progress, which January was probably the most productive knitting month I've had in a long time, which is saying something because life has been crazy. I mean, whose isn't? But January has been especially hectic. But maybe, again, that's why I've knitted so much, because it's basically my me time in the evening after the kids are in bed. I'm like, okay, don't bother me. Like, I am not moving from my seat. I got my beverage of choice, whether that is alcoholic or not. I usually have like a couple pieces of chocolate, and I am watching whatever show I'm binging or listening to an audiobook, and I'm like, this is me time, leave me alone. Most of the kids are good about not coming up with excuses to get out of bed after I put them down, so I'm very thankful for that. And I am not quite sure what my mental state would be if I didn't get my me time. And if you are a gamer or your SO is a gamer, you probably know all about Kingdom Hearts 3 is out after like a 16-year hiatus. So my husband's been playing that in the evenings. So I just put my earbuds in and I knit away. I just started this, like the first week in January. I finally figured out what color palette I wanted to choose. This is the Rustic Elegance Shawl by Jen Shalene, and it is coming along very nicely. It has this nice like alternating garter stripiness, and then a nice, pretty easy and simple lace pattern repeat, which is awesome. It's actually been really fun. Just in the past like 6 months, I have found a new appreciation for knitting from a chart as opposed to written instructions, and I'm really enjoying it. I do have to, here's a picture of the pattern. I do have to make sure though that I am sitting down. I don't have anything to immediately take care of in the next like 45-ish minutes, and no children will be bothering me, because if I lose my concentration for whatever, that's usually when my mistakes happen. The last section is the first one that's the third one, but that was the first one that I completed without issues. Most of the time I'm only off like a stitch or two, and I wasn't comfortable enough with the chart, the first one, to know what I was doing to fix it. And then I'm like off a couple stitches on this one. You can still see it, and I'm sure with blocking it'll be fine. It would put me in a bad mood when I got to the end of the row and I wasn't in the correct stitch count, or I knew I had messed up somewhere. So, but after that, it's just straight knitting and purling. These two were stash yarns, some of my oldest too. The blue, I don't have the tag for it anymore because I had wound it for another project that ended up getting frogged, but it's Madeline Tosh in the button jar blue. It was actually one of my first like Madeline Tosh purchases when I was first getting into nice yarn. Previously I was only shopping at like Michael's and Joann's, which, you know, I've always said there's a time and place for, you know, generally like acrylic yarns, but that was my first like me purchase. And I'm finally using it. That was like 4 years ago. And then the rainbow colorway, oh, I'm calling it rainbow, it's not really rainbow, it's just super bright and fun, is Spun Right Round in her blender colorway, which, yeah, that was also several years ago. I remember seeing it on Instagram, like, yep, impulse purchase, but totally worth it. If you follow me on Instagram, which, by the way, I will put my handles down here. I've been talking a lot about the need for color and bright colors for January, because I hate January. I love Christmas, and then January comes around and we take the Christmas stuff down and it's boring and bland and I don't like it. I crave color. If you have seen my yarns, you know that everything is super colorful. You know, which isn't everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine, so I need color all the time. And that's just how I am. Except for, I generally wear a black shirt and jeans. I have lots of different black shirts, but I also generally choose black shirts so I can wear whatever knitted item. So I can knit with the crazy colors and still wear it and not be clashing. So yeah, I have a couple more sections of this to do, which I'm not sure. I'm ready to start the next lace section, but this is all I have left of the button jar blue. So I'm thinking I'm only gonna be able to do like one more lace section. I'm not really sure. And then that's all I have left. It's probably like 35 grams of the Spun Right Round. So we will see. I will play it by ear for that one. So yeah, and then this is in my bag from NSP Designs. I love it. I am a coffee addict and a tea addict and a sugar addict, which recently I've been trying to break the habit, and it's very hard. So unlike last year where donuts were like a weekly thing, now they're like a monthly thing, which is good because nobody needs all that sugar and crap anyway, but they're so yummy. And my only other works in progress I have to show today is my scrap a scrap blanket that I've started. I've honestly, in the past 4 years, I've started like 5 different scrap blankets. I was doing a mitered square one, and I didn't like it because I was seeing other people's on Instagrams and their squares look so much bigger than mine. And also, when I knit socks, I still have like a good chunk left. I think I only use like 65, 70 grams. So I generally have 30, 35 grams left, which is a good amount, depending. It's too much really for a square. My squares are taking 10 grams, so I could make 3 of them. But it's not enough for like a hat or something. You would have to, obviously, like faded projects or scrappy projects, like that's cool. But so I stopped that one. I threw it away because it also had some crappy yarn in it. I'm like, whatever, I'm never going to appreciate this. And then I started a granny stripe blanket, but I messed up the like foundation chain. It was way too tight and everything was wonky after that. So I stopped that. And then I recently tried, maybe it's in here. I recently tried the chevron. Oh yeah, here it is. It's unraveling though. The chevron scrappy blanket from, her name is Skananigans on Instagram. I'm not sure what her actual name is. But it looks so cool. And she, you know, you can do it as much as you want. You can have as many rows going as you want. Like it is a really awesome construction. But doing it was going too slow for me, and it was not sparking joy, as is the popular term of today. And so I gave up on that, and I just went back to miter squared. But I increased it from, I think I was doing like 36 stitches to now I'm doing 60 stitches, so 30 on each side, and I'm getting a good size square now. Like this is exactly what I was wanting. So yeah, I've been knitting this on US size 2 and 30 stitches on each side, and like I said, it takes about 10 grams, which is good because some minis are 10 grams. Most of them are 20 or 25. But yeah, so far, these are all my yarns. I'm kind of going back and forth. I have like several like scraps that are other companies or whatever, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it all Fuzzy Cactus or incorporate just everything that I've worked on in the year. This is my Whiskey Barrel colorway. This is a colorway that never made it into the shop. It was like a test skein, and I ended up knitting socks out of it for my other friend for her birthday last year. This is Hallelujah, Where's the Tylenol, one of my Christmas colorways. And this one, She Makes Arrows. Last year I did a duo of colors of She Makes Arrows and He Shoots Arrows. So this is the She Makes Arrows. So yeah, I have 4 so far. Yay! Maybe I can actually finish something, or at least keep it going long enough to see a finished project. I do have the Copper State to add in and the From Now On to add in. I also have my mini skein set from Christmas that I'm debating on putting in the Christmas colors, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm also gonna try and keep up on weaving in ends, unlike my previous projects where I just never did anything. So we will see. Yeah. Shop news. There's not really anything new. There will be some exciting stuff happening next month in March. So definitely stay tuned for that. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. I have a personal page, and that's at Fuzzy Cactus Yarn. And then the shop page is at shop_Fuzzy Cactus Yarn. The shop page is just strictly yarn and shop news and stuff like that. And my personal page, I do talk about the shop every once in a while, but it is more like what I'm knitting or my kids or my dog or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, there's some really fun stuff in the works for March. I am so excited. I can't say anything yet, but I'm really excited. And then this month I'm working on just kind of beefing up the inventory. I did just put in a line of tonals, which I'm really excited about because not everything calls for rainbow speckles, unfortunately. I mean, if it did, that'd be awesome. But sometimes you need something a little bit more subdued, and that's totally cool. And I will be having a few new colors added to the shop this week or next weekend. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Yeah, so this is the first episode. Thank you so much for joining me. They are generally kind of short like this, or at least my old ones were. Starting anew, I will try to keep it to about 30 minutes. So we will see how well that works. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you next month. Bye.